Mark has worked with executives and businesses across the world to help them lead their people to own the results. He's mentored leaders and delivered masterclasses in over 50 countries, alongside teaching courses on leadership and influence at business schools across Europe, including such prestigious institutions as IE Business School, HEC, and Hesbury Executive Development.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Pomi's and Giovanni's session there. It's all about those vision in different ways. I give you another picture of a vision and some ideas that I found in working with companies to really, focus on what they're trying to achieve and so forth. But let me just share with you my best definition of a vision. It's a mental picture of what could be, fueled by the conviction of what should be, right? So the could be, what's possible, and the should be, why should it be us? And you see the mental picture as well. Paul, I think, said it. But I think this is one of the most powerful visions. And just give you a background behind this. This comes from a preacher in America who was the son of a very famous TV preacher, and he wanted to step out of his father's shadows. So he created a vision of a 10,000 member church, and he pictured it in place. What could we create? Why would we want to create this? He created the organization chart for a 10,000 member church. And he said to all his friends around him when they were building it, you're doing those 7 jobs. I'm doing these 8 jobs. You're doing those 9 jobs. And actually went away and created it. So he had a very good picture of what it was. Now, the key things that they ask themselves is they ask great questions of themselves and others. And they really put the picture together with stories and examples. That is what helps make the picture clear for you and others. And whenever you're communicating to others, it's stories and examples that make that picture very, very clear. Think about it. Whenever you hear a story or an example yourself, your mind goes to a similar experience. So something becomes extremely relevant. When you think about our vision, is you want to make the possibilities much more relevant. And so if you're out trying to build this and you're trying to get input into it, it's the questions you ask people, and it's the stories and examples that you share with people that bring you into your world in terms of the vision of what you want to create. So I found this to be the most powerful. In fact, I've used it with companies in terms of just a brainstorm. What are the possibilities, and why should it be us? So think of vision as it's a target you're trying to hit. You cannot hit a target you do not have, but also you have to have a vision that's going to be stretching you, but also practical about how you're going to make it happen. But here's some things that I'd like to share with you to think about it. And the best visions and the best companies, they're solving customers' problems, right? And so I was thinking about the 2 pieces that we talked about, could be, should be. First is what's possible, plus how do we achieve it? And then the second part is why should it be us? Why are we uniquely there to make that happen? And the first part, in terms of what's possible, it's all about, how you're going to solve the customer's problems, not just today, but into the future as well, and have a picture of that, have some examples of that, some stories around that, and think about how are you going to do that, and what are the most important problems for you to solve. Unless you're really having a good brainstorm about all those, you might not be thinking big enough. In fact, oftentimes when I was leading IT organizations in my career, that people would ask questions and they try to understand something enough to code something, enough to create a quick solution. But don't be so quick for the solutions. Understand completely, because there might be a solution that goes even beyond what you initially thought, or maybe there's some evolutions to that. The biggest thing I found working with small businesses or some others is they're really focused jumping to a solution when they didn't fully understand the customer's problems. And so I think it's really good with, if you think about what's possible, to get a great idea, have multiple ideas. And if you think about it, being focused being focused is not about addition. It's not saying this is what I'm going to work on and I have to add more and more. Being focused is about subtraction. And so what I found is first get all the possibilities out first, then subtract out in terms of which are really the ones that you should go for. But the more you fully understand the customer's problems, not just from the logical point of view, but from the emotional point of view, you then can move on to thinking about what is that solution that's going to deliver that vision. And then the second part I always think about is how are you going to achieve it? And what makes our solution so much better? What is our differences between what's already in the marketplace and competitors? And how does it evolve in terms of the future as well? So not just thinking in the present, but thinking in the future. So first, understanding where you're heading, whether in terms of what problems are you solving, how are you best to solve it? But I think having brainstorms around these and looking at all the possibilities, you stretches your own mind to really think what is possible, both from satisfying the problems and also providing those solutions. The third part I think is really interesting in terms of why should it be us? What do we bring that's unique to this? Okay. What is the most valuable for our customers than what others provide? And what I think also, whenever we're describing why should it be us, it's all about the stories and examples that bring other people into our world as to what we want to achieve. The most important thing I found, I'm a speaker and so forth, most important thing to convey a message or to pull people in your world is to use stories and examples. And also, as you're trying to complete this vision in this picture, ask other people for input or advice. There's something magical about asking people for input or advice, because when you get input or advice from someone, they always want to make it successful. So they always try and do something with it. I don't know if you're aware of a guy named Peter Diamandis, but many years ago, he put together the X Prize, and he was putting prizes for different technological breakthroughs. He went around asking for money, and he realized this: if I asked for money, I got advice. If I asked for advice, I got money. Because when they give advice, now people are emotionally connected to it, and they want to then offer up money as well. So what I would say is when you get a real good picture about what you want to put in place, the why comes from the stories and examples, and that's what draws everybody else into it. And so just as a quick summary on this is what I found: the could be and the should be are powerful brainstorms for you to say what's possible, and then, focus down, subtracting out and focusing down on what is really important. So what's possible? How are we going to achieve that? And why should it be us? Now, there's one other thing I wanted to share with you, because a vision is only powerful when it's implemented, when it's executed, okay? And there's three things that I found in that, and there's three feelings that drive people that way. And I just want to share this with you, because when you're trying to get everybody else into your world and invest, it's those three feelings that really help them to be a part of it. In other words, three feelings: I'm engaged, I understand what you're trying to accomplish, it's mine, it's personal to me, I can see how it relates, and I'm proud of progress. And so if you think about from a pitching perspective, is getting them to clear what's possible, see how they can relate to it, and then also show the progress that in terms of what you've made and what you're going to do. But what I found overall in terms of really, bringing a vision and making it stick in people's minds is explaining what's possible, make it personal for them, and help them see the progress, because they're proud to be along the way with it. One thing I also found is the vision has to be powerful enough that it uses not only yours, but everybody's potential around it. So if it's not stretching you out of your comfort zone in order to deliver it, probably it's not big enough. They always said, from my perspective in the past, they say a good goal should both excite you and scare you at the same time. So I think this is really one of the keys in terms of that. And what I found, if you really want to get people around you to help you to deliver it, once you've got people on board and the money, it's really around helping people use their potential. Because when people feel they've used their potential, they feel they're growing. So that's just some ideas that I'd like to share about the vision. Keep in mind, could be, should be, and try to bring it alive in people personally with using powerful stories and examples. A very short story and example can really bring something alive in just a few minutes. Okay, so thank you very much.